Next News, breaking news.
Some breaking news right now. President Trump just dropped a bombshell outside the White House that has the Democrats in complete panic mode and exposed a handful of Republican senators who are actively sabotaging the America First agenda. We got to talk about the SAVE Act, a bill so popular it would require proof of citizenship to vote. It's being blocked. Not just by Chuck Schumer and the radical left. No, folks. We now have the names of 4 Republican senators who are rowing against their own team, against the president and against you. And we hear who they are and what the Democrats are saying to celebrate their betrayal. You're going to understand exactly what we are up against. And I'm going to tell you why this matters to every single American watching right now. The SAVE Act is simple. Prove you're a citizen before you vote. That's it. No illegal aliens casting ballots, no foreign interference in our elections, just American citizens deciding America's future. But what happens if it fails? Your vote gets diluted. Every illegal ballot cancels out a legal one. Your voice, the voice of hardworking, tax-paying Americans, get drowned out by people who have no right to participate in our republic. This is not about Republicans versus Democrats anymore. This is about whether American elections belong to Americans. And right now, a small group of establishment Republicans, we call them rhinos, they're siding with Chuck Schumer to keep our elections vulnerable. They'd rather protect the swamp than protect your vote. President Trump called this the most popular bill he's ever seen. And he's right, because every patriotic American understands what is exactly at stake here. And speaking of what's at stake, there's another national security crisis that the media is ignoring. We've been tracking a developing story out of Washington, one the mainstream media doesn't want you to see. As Iran destabilizes the Middle East and threatens American interests, the federal government just made a move that could reshape our entire security posture. And here's the truth they do not want you to know. Our nuclear submarines, our warheads, our next generation power grid, all of it depends on one single thing: uranium. And we import almost every single pound of it from foreign nations. You see, it's not just about energy independence, it's about survival. Because a nation that can't power its own military doesn't control its own destiny. That's why smart investors are looking at atomic minerals, trading as ATMMF in the United States and ATOM in Canada. Look it up on your screen right there. They're positioned in one of the most critical sectors of American national security. When the government finally gets serious about domestic uranium production, companies like this could be at the center of it all. Make sure you review the full briefing that has been prepared just for Next News viewers. You'll find it below. Now let's get back to the Republican senators who are betraying the America First movement. So who are these 4 Republican senators standing in the way of election integrity? Senator Moreno. Just name them all publicly. Tom Tillis of North Carolina, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, John Curtis of Utah, and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. 4 senators who won't be team players. 4 senators rowing in their own direction while Democrats celebrate. And it gets even worse. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is now completely contradicting earlier reports claiming he doesn't have the votes for a talking filibuster. The establishment, my friends, is circling the wagons. 4 GOP senators exposed, blocking Trump's Save America Act. Here's the president moments ago outside the White House.
Senator Thune, listening to you, when you say you want to pass the Save America Act, he says there aren't the votes to do it right now. What's your response?
Well, he's got to be a leader, you know? If he's a leader, he's got to get him. It's the most popular bill I've ever seen put before Congress. And it's voter ID, and it's voter. You have to be able to be a citizen to vote. It's called citizenship. And we're also adding in no men playing in women's sports, no transgender mutilization of our children, and no mail-in ballots, fake mail-in ballots. We have none of that, except in the case of the military, etc. It is the Save America Act. It's the most popular bill I think I've ever put before Congress.
President Trump outside the White House. I will be at the White House next week, so make sure you are tuned into the Next News Network for my exclusive on-the-ground coverage. And now we have this from John Thune, completely contradicting past reports that 51 GOP senators supported passing the SAVE Act, now stating he won't bring forth the talking filibuster. We don't have the votes to proceed.
Of being on the wrong side of President Trump and your resistance to do this talking filibuster, tying the Senate in knots for weeks.
We don't have the votes either to proceed, get on a talking filibuster, nor to sustain one if we got on it. But that is just a function of math. And there isn't anything I can do about that. I mean, I understand the president's got a passion to see this issue addressed, as we all do.
Does he understand that, though?
Well, we've conveyed that to him, but we will continue to make that argument because I think it's important that everybody understand that this really is it's about the votes, it's about the math. And I'm for better or worse, I'm the one who has to be the clear-eyed realist about what we can achieve here. And so we'll continue to convey that. And I think that we're going to have the fight on the floor. We're going to vote on this. We're going to put it up, and we'll give the Democrats the opportunity to cast their vote on whether or not they think non-citizens ought to vote in American elections.
Notice that last part he does say it's going to go to the floor. We'll see about that. Senator Moreno of Ohio, there are 3 or 4 Republicans who won't be part of the team.
The entire conference. He can't fire. He didn't hire these people. And unfortunately, Laura, I'm just going to be blunt. There's 3 or 4 Republicans that just won't be part of the team. And they row in their own different direction. And unfortunately, Leader Thune has very little leverage over them. Now, we're working through it. Today, we had a very spirited conversation at lunch. And I think we're getting closer to having people realize how important it is for us to deliver on a fundamental promise, which is to secure our elections for the future. So I think we're going to get there. I think we're getting there. And I can tell you, Senator Thune is open to that dialogue. He personally calls some of these senators, but it's very, very difficult when you don't have a lot of leverage.
Well,
no leverage. We'll find it. Yeah. Tillis, McConnell, Curtis, and Murkowski. Those are the names. Alex Padilla vows he'll die on the Hill to block the Save America Act in the Senate, doubling down on his opposition. As critics say, Democrats want to keep election loopholes.
That's their goal. That's their goal, to make sure that only the, quote, right people are voting to elect, quote, the right leaders. We're not going to stand for it. I will die on the Hill to make sure it doesn't get out of the Senate.
The right people. Yeah. We want only the right people voting for the right people. Like, he said it with his own mouth. And he says he's willing to die on that hill. Well, it's your career, pal. This is the same guy that stormed the DHS meeting, remember, and got tackled by... What a jerk. He's ready to die on the Hill opposing the SAVE Act. And now we have Chuck Schumer. God.
On the SAVE Act, Donald Trump has given Republicans in Congress a ridiculous ultimatum. Help him thoroughly undermine our democracy, or he will bring all legislation to a screeching halt. What kind of president is this? Sounds like a pouting second grader. Even though it's clear that the SAVE Act has little chance of becoming law, Donald Trump is still hell-bent on getting Republicans to ram this bill through the chamber because he thinks undermining the vote is the only prayer Republicans have in the midterms. Isn't that pathetic? Republicans think they're doing so bad that they must undermine democracy and prevent tens of millions of Americans from voting? Donald Trump has said it himself. He said if Republicans can pass the SAVE Act, it'll guarantee the midterms. Let me read that again. Donald Trump says if Republicans pass the SAVE Act, it'll guarantee the midterms. This is outrageous. Undermine democracy? Prevent people from voting in a democracy, and that's the only way you can win? That's not democracy, Donald Trump. That's autocracy. letting you or Doge or Musk pick who's taken off the rolls and not even notifying them when they show up to vote and they say you're no longer on the rolls, you're purged? That's not democracy. But Donald Trump doesn't believe in democracy.
Okay,
he
Chuck,
sees he's
that's enough airtime for you. Scott Presler, appearing on Fox News, calling out the Senate, time to get on board.
Well, it's been the business, Martha, of the Senate to shut down debate, and that's the 60-vote threshold that you're alluding to. And so thanks to senators like Senator Mike Lee out of Utah and the American people and even President Trump, we are trying to get the Senate on board with the talking filibuster, which means bringing the Save America Act to the Senate floor for debate, and any senators opposed to it will have to tell the American people why they're against what 84% of us support. So we're asking for dialogue, the talking filibuster.
But having them go on the record? Of course they don't want to go on the record. But I'd love to see it. Presler's call to action pressuring the Senate, President Trump doubling down.
It's a very basic thing. It's called Save America, actually, and that's what it is. It's having to do with voting and voter ID. We want voter ID. We want proof of citizenship. We added a couple, no men playing in women's sports. We don't want that. Nobody does. I think it's about a 98% issue. We want no transgender mutilation of our children. Very basic things that you wouldn't even think we'd be talking about 15 or 20 years ago. But for the voting aspect of it is we want voter ID, very important. You have to have identification and you have to have proof of citizenship. We don't want mail-in ballots. We don't want to have ballots coming from all different corners of the world. We want to have it accurate, and you can't do that with mail-in ballots. Actually, Jimmy Carter headed a commission years ago. He said mail-in ballots no good. We're the only country in the world that's doing mail-in ballots. And that would exclude, though, our military or people that are ill, people that are away. So we're generous in that way. But people don't want mail-in ballots because you have crooked elections. It guarantees a crooked election.
No more crooked elections if that SAVE Act passes, and that's why this would be one of the greatest pieces of legislation to attach to President Trump's legacy in this term. And here's what the media won't tell you. The Democrats just revealed their entire hand. Chuck Schumer is having meltdowns on the Senate floor, calling the bill an attempt to undermine democracy. Think about that. Requiring citizenship to vote is undermining democracy, according to Democrats. California Senator Alex Padilla, he literally said he would die on the Hill to block election security. They're not even hiding it anymore. See, they need those loopholes. They need non-citizen voting. That's the only explanation for this level of desperation. When your opponent tells you that they'll die to stop voter ID, you know exactly the game that they're playing. So the battle lines are drawn. President Trump is fighting for your right to have your vote count. 4 Republican senators are standing with the radical left, and Democrats are openly admitting they'll do anything to stop election integrity. This is the moment where we find out who's really on America's side. And I want to know what side you're on. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963. Get on the right side and receive the exclusive intelligence that we will deliver to you. When the algorithm fails you, when the YouTube notifications fail you, I will not fail you. I will deliver the text messages directly to your phone so that you know first. Now share this video with everybody you know. They need to see which Republicans are betraying the movement and which Democrats are admitting that they need election loopholes to survive. Now drop a comment below. Should these 4 Republican senators face primary challenges? Simple yes or no. Let me know what you think about that. And if you support independent conservative media, go ahead. Underneath this video, there's a merch shelf. Find something you like. Support our work. We're only here because patriots like you. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. Remember, stay informed, stay free. I'm Gary Franchi. You're watching the Next News Network.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.